Your Raiders show on RTV. We had already started this thing about 30 minutes ago. Look at Mr. GQ today. Man, Look at you, man.
Today I'm representing the executive management. We have to talk about Reggie McKenzie and what a great job he's done because, man, the last couple of years, the Raiders have slowly turned this thing around, and I think we're ready now.
Well, all I can say is I can't wait to see Reggie dressed like that. I wish we can go all the way down to the kicks.
That's all right. Forget about my attire. Let's talk about what the Raiders did last week.
Well, I'm thrilled that they won. And you know me, I mean, I don't think you're ever going to have a perfect game in any form of sports, what you do. Every now and then you'll come close. You're going to have turnovers, especially in basketball, you're going to have football. But I was happy that we won. I thought it could have been a lot easier in the manner that it was done. And we talked about it before we came on the air, is that I don't like the fact that, you know, the no huddle up pace offense, they couldn't stay with that because, as you said when I asked you what was the most important thing, they couldn't substitute. So they had tired players on the field. And then what did we do? 2 or 3 series, we went back to the let's huddle, let's take our time, let's do it. And we didn't look good at all in any of those series. Every series that we scored on was up tempo. Why change what is working? That's the only part about it that I did. I'm happy, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm happy we won. But, you know, that's why we do what we do. We critique things. That's what we're here for.
But basically, overall, I'm an optimistic winner, you're a pessimistic winner.
No, not at all. But what I'm saying is, if, and I say this seriously now, if we ever lose again this year, see if that comes back to haunt us. Because other teams, if they look at the game like I look at the game, and I know these people that get paid to do this, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, whatever it might be, they're going to see things that I saw. And when you have the talent and the skill level of Coop and Carr and Tree, I mean, come on, man. You just, I've been using that statement a lot, haven't I, Keith? Come on, man. We're going to do a segment on that with you. I'm not going to talk about it now.
Man.
But no, when you have those ingredients, I mean, I don't get why you go away from things that work. I've just never had.
Well, see, here's my thing. Like I said, me being the optimist of our team here, I feel as if that it's hard to critique Bill Musgrave and what the Raiders offense is doing, considering right now the Raiders are still in the top 5 in both categories in terms of being all-around offense and rushing the ball. So I feel like that the best way to attack a team, I agree, the hurry up was a good thing and you need to keep doing that, but sometimes you lull a team to sleep and you try to punch them in the mouth, especially in the fourth quarter. And that segment you're talking about, with 11 minutes and 11 seconds left, the Raiders got the ball. They were up, they were doing well, and then all of a sudden it looks like they kind of just lost it for a second. I mean, Carr even got taking too much time when we're trying to run the ball out. So that automatically stopped the clock. So that tells you automatically the delay of game penalty that the Raiders weren't focused for a series. But then when Baltimore came back, that was a renewed focus because the Raiders had that game in hand the entire game, and they realized in the fourth quarter they had did just a little too much, and they decided to turn it back on when they had to. And that's another good trait that the Raiders are showing now, that their ability to finish games. Before, the Raiders would have just laid down on the road. Now, the Raiders, after 3 straight road wins, are now the road warriors. You know, they're playing ball so good right now outside of the Coliseum. They're going to have to match that this week against San Diego in the Coliseum.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to get off of this, but I'm just going to say this one thing. You made the comment that the Raiders were doing so well. If you're doing so well, which they were, in the no huddle, I'm not necessarily saying hurry up. It's just that they didn't allow them a chance to substitute. And they're an older team. Suggs, all of them, they're an older team. I don't care what anybody says. If they don't get a chance to substitute, they're not going to be as sharp. There were times they weren't even set. They weren't even set on defense. And what I'm saying to that is that speaks to guys being tired, and that speaks for nobody coming in the sub form. Why would you change something that doesn't work? And you made the comment a minute ago, before we came on the air, is that, well, you know, we may be getting tired too. That's why you have substitutes. So you use your backup guys for a play here and a play there. Send your guys back in. You only need them, as an athlete, you know that. You only need a minute or so to get that breath back, and you're right back. You take one play off, you're fine. But again, I just don't. To me, it should not have even come to being that close.
See, that's the thing, though. When you go into no huddle like that, not only do you take the ability to do substitutions away from the defense, you also take it away from yourself because you don't have time to bring substitutions in and call a play at the line of scrimmage. So in essence, you allow the defense, if you substitute, they have time to substitute. So I feel as if that the Raiders, their diversity in offense has been a great thing because we've been punching people in the mouth and we also been going up top.
Okay, now to rebut that, he never played wide receiver.
You don't know what I've played before.
Well, I tell you what, then I'll put it this way. You don't talk like a wide receiver because that is the time, as many deep passes as we throw, whoever's on, I know Musgrave's upstairs, so whoever is on the field as offensive, his assistant, if you know you're going to substitute, your guy's ready to go. You run a 30-yard post, it's going to take him how much time to get back in the huddle? Come on now.
Well,
so don't use that one on me. See, now we gonna
situational football
that, now.
Situational football.
Right.
I don't want to talk about what the Raiders didn't do. I'm ready to move on to what the Raiders did.
Okay.
Can we talk about that?
Yes, but all I'm gonna leave it with this caveat: when and if, and I hope it doesn't happen, we lose a game and we go back to these things that they didn't do because they're not the. Baltimore is certainly not the best football team in the NFL right now.
But Baltimore had the second best defense in the league right now, and the Raiders were able to do what they wanted to do.
When they pushed the tempo, when they didn't have a huddle. They did not score one time when they walked it up and had huddles. Check it.
Well, I will say this. Your points are well taken. I'm not getting paid to do it. We're here to critique it. So I'm not going to agree with you this time. I'm going to stick to my guns, and I feel as if that the Raiders, it's kind of hard to criticize Bill Musgrave when they're 3-1, and they haven't been 3-1 in over 14 years, since 2002. We didn't have the same
players.
So, well, it's situational football.
Take us out of here.
All right, so when we come back, we're going to talk about what the Raiders did because I'm tired of talking about what they didn't do. This man is raining on my parade. I'm a Raider fan. You guys are Raider fans. This is your Raider show, so we need to make it positive and show what we're doing. Now, we don't want to hide when we're doing bad, but we certainly need to accentuate when we're doing good. And we'll be right back with your Raider show on our TV, me and my pessimistic friend here.
That's right. Welcome back to your Raider show on our TV, and I tell you what, we're having a show within a show, which I love this stuff. But go ahead, you follow your point, and then we're going to talk about it.
Well, you had said as we went to break that, well, wait till we play our best team. Well, this factoid out there, Raider fans, you probably will love. The last team to beat the Denver Broncos is the Oakland Raiders. We went to their house in December, whooped on them, and left. No one's beaten Denver since the Raiders did. So I don't care what Denver brings to the table. We've proven with Peyton Manning that we have the personnel that can whoop on them. So I'm not worried about when we play the best team.
Okay, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that if they start, Keith mentioned, what if they start, the best combination in the NFL as of right now is CNC.
Arguably. Matt Ryan's putting up 500 yards and Julio Jones catching 300 yards. That would be the only one that I could see. And wait a minute. Let me not take this away from Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown got some things jumping off too. But I will say this, without a doubt, the Raiders have the best wide receiving core in the National Football League. Because like you alluded to, let them double Crabtree. Let them double team Crabtree. Then what are you going to do with Amari Cooper? So if you double team him, then the X factor, Seth Roberts, steps up.
That's right.
Now Seth Roberts does nothing but catch touchdowns in the red zone.
Hey, and
deadly.
And the big tight end is getting better every game.
Every game. So I feel.
Yeah, but I mean the whole point being, let them. You do what you do best. Let them stop you from doing it. And then when we put our running game with Latavius and the two rookies, we just need to keep our offensive line healthy. If they stay healthy.
Absolutely.
If they stay healthy, we got a great shot. People talking about,
well, let's
remember the old thing, playoffs? Playoffs?
Playoffs? Well, it's becoming more of a probability instead of a possibility.
That's right.
And let's start off with the offensive line. My hero this week on the offensive line was Vidal Alexander, the rookie. His second start, stepping in when we already had McCancis out. We already had the two potential starters from preseason, Howard and Watson. Either one of them would have been our starters. All three of them were out. Menelik Watson, Austin Howard, and McCants. So he steps in, and he doesn't give up a sack. He did have a few holding penalties, but he was keeping our quarterback clean. So I feel as if as a rookie, now catch this, the last pick the Raiders had in the draft this year, 7th round pick. 7th rounder stepped into a starting role and didn't give up a sack. That's why I said I'm representing the executive team of the Raiders today, and I'm formal today as opposed to being in my sweats or my shirts or whatever, because Reggie McKenzie has done a great job. Look at the draft we've had. I have to get on Reggie for a second. Not only do we got a 7th rounder, we got a 6th rounder that had 15 tackles in the game, stepping up in the middle. What a great move by the Raiders and Jack Del Rio by getting Heaney out of the lineup and getting McGill out of the lineup and put it in those two rookies. 2 weeks in a row, the two rookies that you see, we shooting them up the gaps too, trying to blitz, using those young legs in order to try to be able to put pressure on the quarterback. Joseph had 8 tackles, and then we had James. James had 15 tackles. So what, 23 tackles out of 2 starting rookies? Last week it was the opposite way. James had 8 tackles, and you had my boy, brain fart, you have Joseph. Joseph actually had 10 tackles last week. So, and the thing about Joseph is he's coming up and laying wood like some of the former great Raider safeties of old.
Jack Tatum.
Dave Grayson.
Yeah.
I might be a little bit before you, Dave Grayson, part of the Soul Patrol. Nehemiah Wilson, Willie Brown.
Wait,
Fred
did he
the Hammer
happen to
Williamson.
say a little bit before me when I saw the first ever Raider football game at Frank Ewell Field? What grade was you in, the 3rd? Second?
Probably somewhere around there.
So don't talk about, come on now.
But anyway, the Raiders have done
But I got to
really
go
well.
back to our rookie tackle.
Okay.
7th round draft pick. Now, everybody can talk about, I thought he did, and I got to the point where I was keying on him. And this is what I love about a rookie, to be this refined. Do you know on 2 of the plays where he got the hole, I told you I started focusing on him because I didn't even notice that he was in there at first, and then they mentioned him, and then he got the 2 holding calls. And then I started watching him. 2 of the holding calls he got would have been a sack on Carr.
Oh, yeah, so the Raiders.
But that, as a rookie, to be
Absolutely.
that refined to think of that, and that's why you got to give Reggie McKenzie his due.
You have to give him his due. Let's take a look at one where he didn't hold on. The first touchdown play to Seth Roberts. It was a great play. So as you see, Carr falls back. He's in the shotgun. He moves the pocket over to the right side. He looks. Seth gets open. He flings it out, give him room to grab it. He pulls it in for a touchdown. Great pass by Carr. Great catch by Roberts. And you saw what the tackle was doing on that
Nobody
right
got
side.
close.
That right tackle. Did you see him on that play?
Yes.
He did a great job of sealing off the defender, so he had no way of touching Carr.
See, and this is what I know we do, and maybe a lot of our viewers out there can look at the game in a different light if they look at it this way. I see a lot of things that happen after the play when they show replays. I'm not looking, I saw the touchdown, so I don't need to look at that. And I'm looking at other things that you pick up when they show those replays on offensive linemen, that don't get the credit that they deserve because you see things they do, and we got away with a couple of things, which everybody does. Because Donald Penn one time, he might as well have put a belt around the guy because he just grabbed him. But it happens, and it just shows you that the officials are human. But like I said, I just wish that we would have a little bit more cushion, and I think if we do the up-tempo consistently and use our subs, play here, play there, because there's not too many defenses. Like you said, Baltimore's best defense in the league coming in. Not too many defenses are going to be able to handle us offensively.
Well, yeah, it starts with the offensive line, like you mentioned, but you also got to be able to get the ball there. And so Derek Carr, last week, another great performance. Those MVP whispers are starting to crop up. He was 25 of 35, only $199, but 4 touchdown passes. So let's take a look at that second touchdown pass.
But wait a minute, before you go there,
Okay.
you said something that was really intriguing. You said only $1.99. It doesn't matter the yards if you're 4 touchdowns and you winning. I don't care about the yards.
It's all good.
No, I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. I don't care about it.
But my point was is that he was averaging over 300 yards a game. So it was a little bit less in terms of yardage, but in terms of his ability to execute, he was fine. Now we're going to take a look at this first touchdown for Crabtree before we go to the break. So as you see right now, Carr steps back again in the shotgun. He takes a look, moves the pocket again over to the right, and fires a laser right down the gut to Crabtree. What a great pass by Derek Carr.
Take us out.
All right. Well, we're going to come back. We're going to highlight some of the defense, and then we're going to talk about the special teams because they had a very big role in this Raiders win
Number 7
versus the Baltimore Ravens. We'll be right back. Clap your hands, everybody. Say it's all right.
Yeah, get that too, please. Welcome back to your Raider Show on RTV. I tell you what, this is our 5th show. By far the best for me because we're having fun. And I got to let you know that this man, it doesn't matter what he wears. That's Mr. Stats. I mean, I sit here and marvel. And he wasn't expecting this, but I sit here and marvel because he remembers every detail, every cut, every play. And I'm going to tell you, ain't nowhere in the world I get a headache. I'd be taking so many Tylenol on this show, we wouldn't be able to talk. But congratulations, keep doing it. You got something that very few people have.
Well, you know, I just pay attention to details. I'm a Raider fan, 365, 24/7. I watch the game. I listen to the radio shows. You know, I've always had a great retention level. 3rd grade, I had 12th grade comprehension and spelling skills. So, and that's helped me in my business life to be able to comprehend and understand how I can help customers meet what they need. So I appreciate the compliment.
Well,
but the other compliment that I still want to be able to send out is again to Reggie McKenzie. You know, we always got to get our Niner gang thing in there. I remember, I believe it was '86. The 49ers were able to get in one draft. They got Carlton Williamson, they got Eric Wright, they got who was their other? Ronnie Lott, and they had was a 4th one. Their entire secondary, they got in the draft. They were rookies, and they went to the Super Bowl. I'm seeing a big impact that the 2 rookies that the Raiders have inserted to, the defense looks totally different these last 2 games. And these 2 kids are leading the team in tackles. So again, kudos out to Reggie McKenzie and the scouting staff because they're doing the thing. They're making sure that the Raiders are getting an infusion. These last 3 drafts have been spectacular and the team is young. And when you can keep a young nucleus like that together, you got a chance to not only win championships, they'll start talking that D word in a minute. And I'm not talking about dead on arrival. I'm talking about dynasty. They have the makings of that. They hit a couple more home runs in the draft and keep bolstering the team with free agencies, we'll be fine. So let's focus on the defense.
Well, before we go there, and the defense was, I thought, did very well, especially when they needed to. Let's also tip our hat to Coach Del Rio because
absolutely,
Reggie McKenzie brings him in. That doesn't mean he got to play him.
That's right. And
he realized after that hiccup that we had at home that, look, I'm going with the guys that's ready to come out and play. I don't care what your record is in the past, what your history is, whether you're all pro, whatever. I want guys that's ready to perform right now on game day, and they've been doing that the last 2 games. So I'm excited. But going to the defense, I was excited for Khalil Mack because his presence was very well known in Baltimore this weekend. And it's not that he hasn't done well in all the games. The man is double, triple teamed half the time. But they couldn't, I mean, he did a spin move. Oh, my goodness. He was on the left side of the line, came in, planted, The guy went to block him. He spun around him, came in and said, I mean, that was outstanding athleticism. Outstanding for a defensive player. Come on, man.
Vintage Mac. And the thing is that if he's not getting there, he's creating so much havoc, someone else is getting there. Like on the strip sack by Bruce Irvin. If you take a look at that play, you've got the two bookends lined up on the outside. And now you see the heat that's coming. Khalil flushes Flacco to step up in the pocket, and he tries to get out of the pocket, and that allows Irvin enough time to circle around and aim for the strip sack, which was recovered by Danico Autry, number 96. A great defensive play, and all of that pressure in that strip sack was caused by Khalil Mack.
Well, I also have to point out before we get out of here is that you really have on a nice little pendant there, but I know the suit kind of deflects from that, and nobody's looking at the pendant, they're looking at the suit, and I get it. But tell us about, that's a beautiful Raider pin you got there.
Oh, well, this pendant goes a long way, and actually it's about 20 years old. And I went to Spitz Jewelers, used to be right there on Fruitvale in Oakland, East 14th, now International Boulevard, and I designed it. Basically black onyx, the Raider emblem. It has a baguette diamond in the helmet and a diamond in the eye patch. And the thing is, I play basketball, and I tell you that. I play every Saturday. Been a men's league warrior for a long time, and I was playing a month ago, and my emblem broke. The onyx piece fell out. So when the piece fell out, I'm not thinking what it is. I'm caught up in the game.
You playing basketball with that?
Yeah, I've played in it all this time. Unless
now
it's a league game.
Hey, Keith, that's perfect for come on, man. We got to get you on Sunday because that's a come on, man moment.
Unless it's a league game. I can't play in a league because, you know, you take the jewelry off, whatever, you can't play. But on intramurals, yeah, I kept it on. I mean, my wife complains I keep it on all the time, you know. So, anyway.
But I ain't touching that one.
Well, don't touch that one. So, but anyway, it fell off, and the guy pushed it in the corner, and I didn't realize till I got home. I just had the bezel, and the piece was missing. So I said, man, that's part of my friends were like, man, that's part of you. I'm like, I know. So I went back to Spitz Jewelers. They're now in Walnut Creek, and I had them do a revision of it, which they were able to do, and I just got it back the other day.
And I bet you it costs a lot more money now that they're in Walnut Creek rather than Oakland.
Well, I'm not going to disclose the price. But
did it cost more?
Than its original price? Yeah, I think so.
I bet it did.
Yeah.
Okay, come on.
Yeah, so
talking about Crab again. Let's get back to Crab before we get out of here.
Okay, well, Crab, I mean, what can you say about him? I'm going to start calling him the chairman of the Good Hands team, because that boy's got hands. When he had the football like this on that last touchdown, we're going to talk about that in a second, his hands covered the entire ball. He was just holding on to the ball. I'm like, man, look at the hands on that guy. So he definitely has some mitts, and he doesn't drop anything. But that last touchdown pass was a thing of beauty.
What about the footwork?
The Raiders were in a hurry up.
Keith wants you to talk about their footwork.
You like that,
yes.
Right? So the Raiders in a hurry up, and you see Carr take the snap. You see Crabtree, he does an inside-out move, loses the defender, goes right down the gut, and a beautiful arcing touch pass by Carr. Hit him in the back of the end zone, and look at him drag the bottom of his feet. That's the key thing. It's not a toe tap. It was a drag. A lot of people confuse that with a tap. It wasn't a tap. He drugged that foot to make sure that he got that ball in bounds. What a great pass and what a great catch by Michael Good Hands Crabtree.
So you can tell he can dance. You see how he did that with a foot?
Oh, yeah. You guys, if you our TV people, you know I can dance. You see me, but it's all good. But, you know, my passion is the Raiders. You know, they've been like cornflakes and milk for me ever since 1967. I saw my first game. And I'm really excited where the direction the team's going right now. The defense is going to even get better. They're gelling. The secondary has done fantastic. You've seen the secondary come together. The linebacking core is playing well, and they're feeding off each other. Khalil Mack started what I call a barrage of defensive attack from the defensive line. They were swarming. For a while there, Flacco, he just had that look of disgust on his face. He had got tired of getting hit. He got hit 13 times in the game. So that was too much. So the Raiders are putting it together. We need to keep it up because San Diego is going to come into the Coliseum this week, and they're wounded. They're 1-3. and they want to win bad, and this is a division game.
And it's supposed to rain.
And it means much more than any of these other games because
It does.
Del Rio said when he came on board, we have to win the division first. And that's so important because you win a division, you get that first week bye, you 2 games away from the bowl. So you get in the dance and you win a division, you got 2 home games and you're in the bowl. So it's very important that the Raiders start winning at home like they've been doing on the road.
How much time we got?
Time is not a matter. I own our TV, so I'll let it play longer if I need to.
Oh, it's
So,
like that, Keith.
Anyway, what we are going to say is that we're really thankful for Keith Curry, the producer of the show. He's done a great job of putting this show out and getting it out in a timely manner. We appreciate you, the fans that are watching your Raiders show on our TV, and we'll be back next week to recap the Raiders and the San Diego Chargers. Don't think about the Chiefs yet. That's next week.
That's
One
right.
game at a time. And we'll be back next week on your Raiders show on our TV.